automatically.
Perfect. No, this one's back in Charleston. Sick, and Miss Shanna had a speaking engagement, something. Last training question, I don't know if we will or not, but if we go into executive session, who is going to be responsible for pausing the live stream?
I guess that'd be me.
Okay.
I didn't practice that, so I don't know how to do that. So
Okay.
we'll see what happens.
Unplug everything.
Yes.
Turn it all off.
Yep.
All right. There was a weird audio thing happening, but maybe this is not.
The top's frozen, but the bottom right is moving.
Yeah. Maybe.
Yourselves. All right. Well, now that we're live, I'm gonna officially call the meeting to order. And especially. Yeah.
I wonder if that matters. Maybe that means I muted
So
on
this-
our end, but if you log on to yours, if you're just watching it from your random computer, you probably can hear it.
Yeah, probably.
Okay. All right.
So I just Googled it and it says YouTube allows streamers to pause if you're the platform person, to
Okay.
pause for a set duration, like 1, 3, or 5 minutes with a countdown. So when we pause, a banner or countdown will appear often to inform the audience that the stream is temporarily on hold.
Okay.
But
So we
it
just have
doesn't,
to work within the countdown and then pause it again if we're still.
again, if that's the only option.
Okay.
Yeah. That's a quick.
That'd be something like, this is why we're practicing before we officially have to do it next month. But again, thank you guys for coming. I know it's a small group. But because the 4 of us showed up, we officially have a quorum. So we can conduct business. Mission 1 accomplished for tonight. So on the first voting, I will, the agenda was emailed out to you. Thank you, Curtis. I will accept a motion to approve the agenda.
So moved.
A second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Nope. And then Tori, despite being sick, emailed out a copy of the minutes. Did anybody see any corrections needed for that? Nope. All right, I'll accept a motion to approve the minutes as presented. Motion. Second.
Second.
All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Nope. All right. Moving right along. Which one of you guys are taking the lead?
Oh, it's me. All right. Okay, so I wanted to, before we jump into the presentation, the audit came back looking really good. So as for debt requirements, debt service coverage ratio came back at 1.61 for the year, and 71 days cash on hand at the end of the year. Looking very good at the end. No findings or anything. Good audit all around.
Excellent.
Yes, great.
Great work. So yeah, that's really how I wanted to look at it. And then Curtis, we can go ahead and.
Did y'all get a copy of the?
You want me to do that, Kurt?
Yes.
I got it.
Financial yes.
Good. The audited financials I'm talking about, not September's financials.
Stanton and I just got them, I can email them out.
Okay.
That's right.
And posted them in Epicenter, everything is good.
Everything's good.
You met the district's requirement.
So,
Although, sorry, those are preliminary, aren't they? Because they got the federal funding. Was they, were they one of the schools? They were. Okay, perfect. Some of the schools have a delay requirement for excess federal funds that have specific audit guidance that wouldn't allow the auditors to formally issue the opinion on them. So some of them are still in limbo. I don't know if things. I get all the schools confused. We're working with so many now,
Sure.
so I apologize.
we have 3 that are that, and
Yeah, I knew there was more than one.
there you go. So, looking good. As far as everything goes, we'll jump into looking at the balance sheet really quick. We've got about 1.7 months cash on hand, a little bit lower than last month, and total liabilities is up. You'll notice a significant amount. The driver of that is the $690,000 from the EPA. That's coded as deferred revenue on our balance sheet.
That's the bus.
Yes, it's the bus money. So that'll stay on the balance sheet until it's used. And then it will be used to offset on the income statement any expenditures from the purchase of the buses for the most part. So about 2/3 of our unrestricted cash is in the savings account as of the end of September. Just something to keep in mind, we do still have a decent cash reserve, just under $500,000 as of the end of that month. As far as revenue goes, we are tracking just on par with the new budget at 25% as of the first quarter. So that, like I said, is on schedule. Federal funding, a majority, about 60,000 of that is USDA funding for the free school lunches, and that last little 1,500 or so is Title I claims that we've submitted in September. So we expect to.
Yeah, let's pause and talk about the federal funding, kind of some updates here.
I had a
Obviously,
question.
yeah, and we're still trying to figure some of this stuff out on the fly as the government shut down. They've said that USDA is funded through October. Don't know if that means somebody needs to release the funds for USDA revenue this month. I don't know if they need a physical person in office for it to come out of there, but I imagine as soon as the government reopens, they will push the USDA funding out.
So someone was in the office today and released the payment for October, September's great news.
That's terrific. I didn't know that. Thank you for sharing that.
25 grand in bank.
I mean, we don't have the check yet, but
Sure,
she
it's on its way.
processed it.
Okay, that's good. They said they were funded through October. I just didn't know if
Right.
they were gonna send somebody in to
Yeah.
send the money out. You guys may or may not have seen the Trump administration slashed the special education program with a huge RIF. Not sure what that really is gonna mean in terms of IDEA funding later in the year. So just we need to be cautious of that and stay optimistic that we're gonna get our full funding, but there's no telling what may happen to their budget. And then lastly, no federal programs have been finalized yet at the state level, so we don't know what our other federal program revenue is gonna look like. So we need to be very cautious of spend. If we don't need something, let's try and push it off. Duct tape and rubber bands and glue as much as we can, without impacting, the product and the service that we're giving the students here. So just wanted to give you a little bit of an update there as best that I have. The district is still optimistic that January, February will be the time they approve all the federal programs. So just
And that's
wait for
the
that.
Title I, II, and III.
Mhm.
Okay.
So we're still plugging along. State funding is majority, as we've seen in previous months. That's going to be the trend through the year.
And then one note on state funding, just was asking Suzanne about the 45-day count. It looks like it dropped about 10 from our 5-day count. Just a reminder, that funding is going to start in January off the 45-day count. So our funding will go down a bit. The WPUs, I don't know how they're going to calculate. I don't know what the shift is in that 10, but we're probably looking at rough calculation about $4,000 of lost revenue a month. And that will run through May. Through April funding. So it'll be January through April's funding is off of that 45-day count, and they'll do the 135. So over the next 60 or so days. If we've got anybody on wait lists or get some transfers in, we really got to do that. We can give you all the information and what the numbers mean, but we can't get butts in seats for you guys. So I really need to be pushing at the school level for that.
All right, so moving on, we'll look at some expenses. We'll see that total expenses about 1.8 million. Net income year to date is actually, the net loss is better than it was. So that shows actually a positive month at about $7,000 net income for September, which is good. We see legal services are still high. That's the different invoices that we've seen related to bonds. We spoke a little bit about that last month. Year-to-date instructional spend, the district likes to see that as a proportion of total revenue at about 55%. Last month, it was about 41.5%, so we're trending up. Really, the district is going to look at that at the whole year level. We just like to keep our eye on the ball as we go through. So we're trending upward, keep focus on that, making sure that a majority of spend, more than half, is on instructional expenditures as opposed to facilities or administrative.
When did the audit finish? Do you know that?
I don't, but I'm happy to calculate that and send it out. We're going to key metrics. Total cash on hand is significant, but unrestricted is a little bit less. So unrestricted, we're looking at 780,000 roughly, and so about 51 days cash on hand as opposed to 60 last month. And then our trailing 12 months net income is an income of 138.5, and you'll note our debt service coverage ratio, as I spoke about last month, we've broken out and removed the two one-time revenue items, that tax credit, the employee retention credit, and the $250,000 in just donations that was received. And you'll note the debt service coverage ratio for the trailing 12 months is actually higher than last month, and that's because of capital expenditures and an increase in capital expenditures and debt service over time. So still meeting our metrics, still probably in a decent place, and we'll keep an eye on how spend is going, as Scott mentioned. So as far as, oh, that's fun.
Look over there.
But as far as debt service goes, as I've mentioned in previous months, we accrue the interest paid on the bonds month over month, so that we, again, will sort of have an eye on what it's going to look like at the end. So we'll record a liability on the balance sheet and the expenditure so that we've got a more accurate picture of the true financial status, and it's not just one large hit in August and June. It is. But like I said, we've got 673,000 in debt service expenditures for the year thus far. We'll continue to accrue over time. Debt service coverage ratio at 1.28, and cash reserves are still above the benchmark, but we'll just keep watching spend, because a majority of our unrestricted cash is in that savings account as opposed to the operating. Make sure that we're still compliant. The bondholders, those are the people we want to keep happy. So just wanted to show this like I did last month. Shows it's a reduction 483,000 in net income if we break out the one-time items. So just wanted to show you how it was calculated. That way, if you have questions or are unsure, there's a reference for you to see. Our maximum annual debt service is $996,175, and relative to that, we are still in good shape. So as far as sort of things to note, as last month showed, there's still an operating deficit, though we had a decent September. Just timing on that with the federal funding not being released. And we incur more expenditures with less funding in the beginning of the year, those first couple of months when federal programs are finalized, and we haven't had as much time to engage the community for donations or fundraisers. I know that we had one that was 23,000 in the last month. It's great. Keep pushing for those. Yeah, so there were some large unexpected spend items in previous months that the ramifications sort of carry month to month. The higher spend on computers on the front end or legal fees. Then we've shown the debt service coverage ratio without the one-time items included. Still in compliance even with that. So that is a great thing for the school, that even without those things on the trailing 12-month calculation, though the bondholders do see the true trailing 12-month, they see it's at a 1.76 without those items broken out. So bondholders see those ratios and not ours, but to keep our eye on the ball, that's what we do. And then just another risk, as Scott mentioned, the federal government being at a standstill currently is there's sort of something to make sure we're mindful of. If it's a delay in funding, if the USDA funding will carry, because we do have the larger expenditure with our food servicer. It's a significant monthly expense, and if the funding isn't there to offset it, it becomes a larger burden on the school. So just something to be mindful of. And so we'll keep watching spend. We were talking through the rework of the budget. I know you guys approved last week and are going to continue to discuss tonight. We'll make sure we're compliant and all the things. And as you've begun doing, we'll keep pushing for any sort of local donations or fundraisers that can be used to, as Suzanne told me, some of them are being used to offset costs of these end-of-year field trips that are going to be larger expenditures incurred later. Insofar as we can do that, I would like for the school to focus on those things. And then, as mentioned before, the federal funding will begin hopefully when cross all of our fingers and toes that we will start having programs finalized in January, February, and begin funding shortly after that. So that being said, you guys have any questions for me? I know also, Suzanne, you were at the bank today establishing an account so that we can actually separate the EPA funds and hold them in a non-interest bearing account.
Yeah.
To make sure that they're completely separate from operating funds.
Yeah, they have been moved now.
Fantastic. That's great.
I have a question.
Yes, sir.
Talk about the field trips. Are the field trips not being paid for fully by the students? Or is the school subsidizing?
It's a little tricky. It depends on how many kids show, like how many are interested, how many actually make the payments. So we're trying to offset the cost of the bus to hopefully like earn a little bit of money.
Yeah.
But it just depends on how many people show interest, how many people pay. If you get until a flight, you get kicked off, you don't get your money back, that kind of stuff. So
But you set it based on like assuming there's gonna be a certain number,
we try to
and
do
price
it.
it according to that, but if it doesn't come in quite right, then.
We try to set it at the most conservative number, so hopefully we'll exceed that. Our students are going to Chicago this year.
Very great.
In 4th and 5th grade, are going to, 5th and 6th are going to, somewhere in North Carolina. Mhm.
I was like, I have the things on my fridge.
Not specific to this, I just have a question on, I know one of our forbearance is I think Chance talked it down to a monthly.
Yeah, the 13-week budget that you're referring to. I assume.
Yes.
Yeah.
How is that currently read? How does that work?
So our process is we're going to update it every month, just like we talked about. We're not doing true week-by-week budgets.
Okay,
Yeah, that was the agreement that the bondholders agreed to.
okay. So is it just our annual budget divided by 12?
Yeah, that's how we've got set. And really,
Okay.
13 weeks is 3 months.
Yeah.
Give or take a week. But they were okay with that approach, so we just kind of go in and take a look at that, see where it's falling.
Yeah, that was my, I knew it was happening, I just wasn't.
Yeah, and that's the thing, that you've got to explain 5% variances and all that.
So we filed one yet or not yet?
No, we filed the original one, and I don't know that we've gotten a second one. But we'll circle back on that, make sure that we're, at least, I know Chance is having regular conversations with them, so sometimes they're a little bit more lackadaisical on it, so to speak.
Yeah.
But we don't want to trip over some sort of covenant or a requirement that gets us out of forbearance into the fall.
Yes. I would also love to not pay more lawyers, because that's what I've learned. If
Yeah.
they want us to do something, there's lawyers involved.
Yeah.
So,
Our lawyers are reasonable. US
Yeah.
bank lawyers.
We don't get to pick, but we have to pay for them,
So,
so.
as we saw on Jonathan's slide, you know, how much we've spent compared to our $5,000 budget, which at the time we probably thought was too much. And it wasn't even close in, retrospect.
Yeah.
So that's all in our hands. It's too bad that can't be an add back.
capitalism.
Do you guys have questions on finances?
I think so.
Thank you, guys.
You're welcome.
Yeah,
Thanks for having us. Enjoy the rest of your evenings.
Thanks, you
Thank
too.
you. Thank you.
Thanks for coming.
Thanks, guys.
When I did, David Sullivan told me to tell you hi the next time I saw you, so,
Big fan, David.
yes. Me too. The 6-hour strategic planning meeting today.
You see a lot of them.
Yeah, we're real close.
Have a great evening.
Bye.
Thank
Thank you.
you all. Bye.
I'm gonna move around so I'm not staring at the window.
So since we're practicing,
Yes,
so it looked like if there are slides that go up during the meeting, those don't get shown to the people that are, like, it didn't show up as a little box in there.
Okay, so
So
we
I-
can just share a screen,
Well, I'm fine with them not seeing
not
it,
seeing it?
and they just get to hear the discussion.
Yeah,
But, I just think this is our chance to like be real clear on that. Like, I can tell the whiteboards are like carefully erased. It's like anything
Yeah.
that's visible in that box,
Yeah.
people can take pictures of, they can upload to
Screenshot.
AI.
Yeah.
And, so it appears that if anybody shares slides, that's not visible.
not visible.
They hear us talking about it, but
I think that's fair.
all right, Darian, I keep you on the agenda, assuming you're our mission in a minute.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, the library is open and we have students checking out books and reading in the morning times. But what we want to highlight is, what we call book buddies, where the kindergarten and first graders have older students that come in and help them read.
I
And
love it.
assist them with that. So, which, goes along with the mission statement of, permission to be nice and serve well. And I will tell you from volunteering for, this past Friday, I was with Fun Friday. That whole serve well thing is not, it really goes on. So, I was able to witness, we were, dyeing shirts and the older students were helping the younger students do it. And it wasn't just select students, it was the entire class, the entire 7th and 8th grade class. They were holding students' hands and helping them do the things. And that was, to me, as a parent and as someone out of the community, that was, wonderful to see. So it's going on in the libraries in the morning, but it's going on at the school at all times, so just want to let you know that it's the mission statement, what you see, what we hear is actually going on in the school. So,
Very cool. That's awesome. All right, Curtis.
Sweet. All right, good evening, everybody. I took a picture, I wrote everything on my board, so. I have it here. Just to, the mission in a minute is great. Great to piggyback off of. Our Fun Fridays have come a long way at Lee Academy. And every year we just get better and better at it. And so this coming November, our Fun Friday will be centered around Veterans Day. And so we have a lot of things that are going to be happening for just honoring our veterans. And so we're really excited about that. Our Serve Well committee, we have a committee, staff members that will be heading that Fun Friday. So our opening ceremony may have like some of our band is practicing this medley of military songs that they're gonna do. And a host of other things that we're trying to do. And we're also trying to invite veterans and family members into that specific Fun Friday. So next month is going to be pretty special. So we're excited about that.
Chris, what's the date on that?
I
know I signed up for it, but I can't.
I don't know. Let me see if I can pull it up. I have it here. It is the 14th, November 14th. So similar to Darian, if any board member wants to come and just participate or just observe, feel free to come. It's a great event. Last week's Fun Friday, that was our first time kind of mixing grades in that way. So it was really cool to be able to do that and have our older students. And actually before they actually tied out the shirts in the mornings, and that morning, our middle schoolers went to the elementary school students and helped them actually wrap their shirts. And so it was kind of double service. So they helped them wrap the shirts the morning of, and the afternoon they actually got the tie-dye shirts.
And they were happy to do it. Like
Yeah.
I taught middle school before college, and I'm always in and out of schools. They were happy to do it, and they enjoyed doing it. It was like I said before, it was wonderful for me to see. So particularly because my son goes here.
Yeah.
So it was great. It was great. Yeah.
So shifting, I'm gonna kind of go departmental. So I'm gonna shift to our state department. One of my visions at Lead Academy has been to expand our special education department, specifically with our self-contained classrooms. It's an interesting model, right? So like special education is a small population of our full population at Lead Academy, where if you look at Greenville County, they have a bigger population of SPED students where they can like house them at one school where the funding works a lot better that way, as opposed to just like a few students here and there that are just kind of served with, your normal budget. And so one of our goals is we want to be able to fill this classroom with self-contained students. And historically, as a public charter, we don't turn away any students, but sometimes when we've said, hey, we don't have a self-contained classroom, we lose interest from some of the parents who are like, oh, I heard such great things. I wish, we could come. Or we would have to do a lot to like create that classroom. So Katie Hall is our special education coordinator, student services coordinator, and she's done a lot of work to get this program off the ground. So we currently have 4 students in our full self-contained classroom that are labeled as DD. We have other students in a separate classroom that's like a half-day self-contained, that's more for academics. The full DD class is more like, it's academics and functional. So it's like severe autism, what they label students in the early ages of what's called developmentally delayed. And so we're really excited to be able to form this classroom and shift that vision. And I think as more families know, like we've already had one family that like heard about it and they brought their daughter here. And so I think we'll be able to fill that class up quickly, and probably we will be moving to opening a second classroom. So it helps us to be able to provide their proper services for our students.
Yeah.
Also on the funding side, the students are weighted more also, so that also helps. So we're really
What's
excited about that.
Max of a self-contained classroom?
Yeah, I think the max is like 15 students, and that's with aid. So you have to have teacher and aid.
Yeah.
So yes.
Okay.
So
we're at 4 now, max 15, but would need aides.
Yep, and we'll have a
And we
fifth
would need
student
a
start.
bigger classroom.
Mhm.
They're in a very small classroom.
Okay.
But can I tell a little story?
Sure.
So I was at the front desk this morning. So DD, I think it only goes up to age 8.
Mhm.
So they're all little, young kids. And one of them, part of her IEP is that she comes in a little late each day. So the teacher, the aide, always greets the mother and the child in the lobby. Well, she came this morning with 2 or 3 other kids from that class. And then the girl shows up and everybody was so excited to see each other. I mean, it was just a beautiful thing because the girl in particular who comes late, you know, when she started here, I was like, I don't know how this is gonna go because she needs, you know, a lot of services. And Katie has been so fabulous in, you know, dealing with the schedule, having her come in late, working with mom. And now this classroom has evolved and she was just so happy to see her friends. And it was a beautiful thing. I was really thrilled by it.
That's great.
I mean, that changes her life.
Yeah.
That's not
Yeah,
just
and mom's life.
Yes,
That's right.
yes.
And mom specifically brought her here. She's a former lead student also, so she
Oh,
was,
wow.
she was here as a middle schooler. That's when it was middle school only. So
That's a good
full
connection.
circle. Full circle. All right, I'm going to shift to instruction. So we went through some of our embargo data last month, and you know we highlighted some of the deficits in math. So that's been our focus this year. One thing that we're doing in the morning, we've started tutoring using our MyPath software, and one of our coaches, she runs, Ms. Majors runs a tutoring classroom. So all 3rd through 8th grade tutoring has started. And this past Monday, professional development, all of our math teachers went, was that Monday?
Yes.
Yeah, this
Yeah,
past Monday,
yeah.
Tom.
Mhm.
We just adopted a new math curriculum. So we had one of the curriculum experts come from iReady who trained all of our math teachers on, you know, how to look at the curriculum, how to structure the lessons and those types of things. So really trying to focus on improving those math scores for our students and just improving those outcomes in general. 100% of our classrooms have either taken a field trip or are planning a field trip for our Lead Reads Week. And so we're big on field trips at Lead Academy. We're big on getting our students out in the community, and Lead Reads Week is a great time to do that because we're centering all of our activities around literacy. And so so everybody has either already gotten out or will be going. Our 4th graders got to go to the Peace Center for a performance at the Greenville Symphony.
Yeah.
8th grade, they're going somewhere tomorrow, I believe, Career Center. Yep. And so that's just, I can't remember them all. Those
5th grade is coming to Bold Mood.
They are, yes.
I paid Emerson, my son was
Yeah.
here. I was like, I know that guy.
I thought Sarah had a great idea. She's like, let's do a lunch and lead, like a lunch and learn,
Mhm.
5th grade style.
Yep.
It's like, let's do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's going to be a lot of fun. So that's still, you know, our mission living out. We recently had our Fire Prevention Week, and so during that week we had a lot of our first responders, our firemen and team, and actually a lot of these families are connected with our school, and so their parents had decided that they wanted to do this for Lead Academy. And so we got to, you know, experience the fire truck. I think the smokehouse was here, so they got to practice stop, drop, and roll. It's always fun. And we also had community helpers with kindergarten. So that was a unit that they studied in kindergarten. So they had a lot of first responders come visit their classroom and talk about what it means to be a community helper. Spirit Week has been themed around our Fun Fridays. So every week that we have a Fun Friday, we have a week of Spirit that leads up to it. I'm not sure what that's going to look like for veterans, the veteran one, but that's also a new thing that we're trying out this year. So the past 2 have been very successful. Data, we've finished we do like our testing, fall, winter, spring. We just finished our round of fall testing with both iReady and in our primary grades skills block. And so we have already, you know, shifted some of our instruction, our differentiation, targeted instruction towards, you know, the data that received from some of those tests. I'm going to shift to our parent and community. So our enrollment season opens in November, and so we've already been scheduling tours. Rachel is doing tours, 2 or 3 tours at least each week. And so we're getting ready for that open enrollment. Traditionally, we have only done like a kindergarten enrollment, but we're going to do it differently this year and just open enrollment for all grades in November. But we're still going to focus on kindergarten because that's when we're kind of competing with everybody who is opening it for kindergarten. And so that's just right around the corner. We have had, we've launched our PTO. We had a PTO, our first interest meeting last Thursday, October 9th. We had, Rachel said 12 to 15 parents showed up. So we're really excited about that. Going back to Fun Friday, we've had a lot of parent volunteers. I think this is the most parent volunteers that we've ever had at our Fun Fridays. So that's really awesome. And we also have our high school fair that will be coming up for 8th graders on November 7th. So that's when high schools will come to the academy and they'll just talk about the different programs and what they offer. And there's a variety of high schools that come, charter, private, Greenville County. So they get to kind of hear the pitch and, get information on what they're interested in and what they're kind of lean towards. So great opportunity there. Some clean bus updates. So I talked to our bus dealer. His name is Todd Manuel about, we received our money, what are our next steps. He really didn't have a lot of answers. And there's a lot of things up in the air also with the federal government, with tariffs. He talked about the prices of the buses may have increased, so you may have to go back and ask for more money. And so there's just a lot of moving parts. I think some good news is he said that our current buses, it didn't matter what condition they were in. If you had to tow them to the place to exchange them, that's fine. So that's great news on our end because that bus down the hill is pretty incapacitated. I saw a fox come up from it. I think he's built a home in there. Maybe we need to link to that. So that just a few clean bus updates. I asked a few other things, but those were the most important details. So it didn't seem like they were we had to press or move quickly now that we have the $690,000. He's also a really hard guy to get in touch with. So I tried to follow up with him today to see if he had heard from the Thomas bus dealer. I didn't get an answer. So he'll just call me back randomly. So we'll see when he calls back. Lee Reads Week is coming up. This is our annual literacy week. Well, we're super excited about our new partnerships and new donors. Sarah believes that we'll make a profit off Lee Reads Week with all of the donations that we receive. Plus, we are serving dinner, so we are selling dinners. And so off of all of those, we
dinner which is being donated.
Dinner which
by
is being
Chef
donated
360.
by our caterers, Chef 360. We also decided to reach out to all of our vendors to see if they would be interested in donating to Lee Reads Week. I think we might have reached out to about 15 different companies that serve us, like our custodial staff, our lawyers, our former architects. Everybody. Waldron, the plumbing and heating and air. Yeah. And a couple of them responded. So our architects gave us $500 and Chef 360 gave us $500. So we were really excited. So we was we just went for it and it worked. So. Let's see what else.
And then next Thursday we have a book palooza. Is that
the book of palooza is it will be next Thursday. That's October 23rd. It would be great if all of you all could come out. We have some members of the media that will be here. The Reader River Rotary will be here. Greenville First Steps will be here. And a gentleman named Derek Lewis, who I think he used to serve on Greenville County's board, possibly, will be here. He's connected to a lot of people that we're trying to build partnerships with. A lot of these people like to like schmooze with board members, like the board is like important to them. And so it would be great if you were there to kind of schmooze with these people also. But it's just a great event also. The Greenville Symphony will be there. We have lots of activities.
Oh, really?
The Warehouse Theater will be there. It's not the full symphony, it's the little percussion guy.
Okay, Daniel.
Yes.
Okay, great.
We have a raffle. It's not a raffle, it's like a silent auction. It's a silent auction that will be happening. We have some arts, the book fair will be there. Face painting will be happening. Like I said, there'll be dinner. So it's just a great night to like celebrate literacy at Lead Academy.
That started at 6.
5 to 7.
5 7.
Mm-hmm.
Well, if we don't have air traffic controllers, my schedule will all of a sudden become.
Yeah,
I'll be here.
TSA.
It's
It's important, right?
Town.
Yeah, I'm glad I had earlier September travel and
Oh my goodness.
I'm here for a bit.
Kind of like off the heels of the last board meeting, I try to keep Sarah updated and like on like any funding changes, because then she kind of takes that and kind of focuses some of her like requests on some of those things. When we were talking about athletics, one of her ideas was she started like this in-house merchandise fundraiser. So we have like some old Lead Academy things that we're trying to sell to parents and community to like raise money for our athletics. We also have a new partnership with an organization called Unity Health, who they serve, they're what's considered like a nonprofit health organization that serves uninsured families. And so they've offered to help us give mental health services to some of our uninsured families. So we have a partnership with SkyApp, who services our kids that are Medicaid eligible, and then Unity Health will serve all the kids who are ineligible. And so we'll be able to like serve all of our kids with their help with mental health services. I think that's it. That's all I want to talk about.
A lot of good
The
things.
end.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of good stuff. Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right. Paige, what do you have from the development/academic committee side of things?
Well, we have a couple of things. Once again, Sarah put together a really nice spreadsheet for me to read through. We do have a couple grants we need to approve. One is with QT for instrument repairs. And then another one will be, so did not receive the grant from Upcountry Fiber for the end of year trip support, but we'll reapply for technology funds. So we need to reapprove that with Upcountry Fiber. And then Snapdragon school library grant as well. So there's just 3 that we need to approve.
Okay.
So
I will move to approve those 3 grants.
Second.
perfect.
All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Perfect.
Multitasking.
Presenting it.
Welcome.
Yes.
Okay, yes, great job, awesome, cool. Like Curtis said, Book of the Leaves is coming up on the 23rd from 5 to 7. She wrote, "Please come!" exclamation point. And then the Lead Bookshop will be on October 24th, which is a Friday, the free book giveaway for all students. Bernadine will be there, as well as representatives from the Rotary and Greenville First Steps, who are and also confirmation that at least the ballot will be there. So that is on October 24th.
The day after book of the Leaves.
Yes. You don't have, well, we talked about
We
it.
talked, okay.
Yes, yes.
So I'll be there, and then
Make sure.
yes,
Yes.
we'll be there to help set up a little bit early, and then be there while the kids can get books and just chat. I'm pretty sure I was at the warehouse show, the most recent one, and I'm pretty sure Bernadine was too. Right in front of me.
Yes.
And they had the reserve signs,
Yes.
and I was gonna walk down and check to see what their name take down. So I was, Zach and my husband were both listening. I was like, if we hear the name Bernadine, that's gonna stand out. And it had to be her,
It
but
was her.
I never knew her.
She loves Wednesday.
Sounds right.
At the warehouse dinner when they did the lights.
Yes. We do
She
it.
was sitting in the front row.
She was.
Or with us.
Yeah.
The company, Ingenious, we do their website. here, so we'll wipe every minute. I need to
Oh.
look out for next. Okay, anyways, moving on. For winter staff appreciation, we've purchased 8 branded mugs with Office Depot gift cards, and we're hoping to stuff each mug with gift cards for the staff, so please consider bringing $25 gift cards to a local restaurant to the next.
Okay.
And then she shared some graphs on overall fundraising updates. While on our way, just be aware that grants and income donations are not given in the form of money, so although they are very helpful in bringing down spending, it does not count towards income. So if anyone wants to see the graphs.
Are we commenting?
That's what I was. Is that for us or is it?
I just noticed that. Some people are commenting. Let's see if I can turn that chat off.
Is that what those
Yeah.
Legitimate comment? Can you see people watching?
There's one watching now.
Is that us?
It's probably us.
Yeah,
maybe
I feel
that's
like- I
maybe
feel
that's
like
not real.
It's bots. Like, I feel
Okay,
like it's real,
yeah.
but I feel like it's bots.
It's got to be. It's got
We
to
have
be.
that special anyway.
Oh, yeah.
Sorry, I didn't mean that. I didn't mean that. Okay.
I do feel like comments off probably.
Yeah.
That.
Agreed.
That's
Yeah.
right.
They're to moderate it. I feel confident those are bots, but in real world, we're gonna have.
No. If it's being recorded and posted forever for people to see.
Yeah.
There's no.
Yeah, this was not us generated.
Well, I knew that. I just didn't know where it came from.
Yeah, it's a state law. I don't know if it comes off of a federal law. Sometimes those things trickle down. But I know it's a state law. Yep. All right.
So is there anything, if we're all looking through the lens of everything that's happened here tonight being live streamed, maybe no one's there, but it's recorded and available.
Right.
Is there anything so far that we are not feeling presented? I mean, we're but we don't normally think about it through the
Yeah.
lens of
I think you're gonna have to be careful what is said, because,
who's.
well, I mean, we're being recorded right now,
Yeah.
so what am I gonna say? But I
We're
have
not
a lot of
posting
thoughts on
this.
this.
No, this
We're
is
not
a trial run. We don't have to
posting.
start doing
This
this.
is not,
Okay.
Yeah.
we're practicing.
So, you know, if you're talking and saying, well, we think QT will support this, but they're not gonna support that, so we'll ask these other people for this money. I don't know, you don't want QT to watch that.
So,
Yeah, based on
like,
everything.
what
Yeah.
if Paige just said, I sent out, the list from Sarah,
Mm.
and we need to vote on the grants that were
Mhm.
distributed or whatever, rather than naming QT
Yeah,
or like, I know I'm just thinking of this right now, didn't think it would happen, but calling Bernadine by name.
that's what I was gonna point out. Yeah.
You know, but it's just gonna be so
Yeah.
weird for us
It
all to
is.
get
Yeah.
used to that.
It's really gonna cut down on discussion.
Oh, these
Yeah.
are, I said, that was my first comment,
Mhm.
then
Yeah.
when this was announced a couple months ago, I was like, wow,
We're gonna
our
have
board
shorter
is gonna
meetings.
be real short.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Cause we'll be doing more where
Yeah.
it can't be seen.
Yeah. I don't mind, here's the thing I don't like that we're practicing right now is, committee meetings also have to be live streamed and recorded. And so I don't think we're gonna get away from mentioning grants by name. And I actually don't mind, I agree with you, like, we don't wanna talk about like, oh, well, they won't fund this, so let's do that. I think as far as like, we're applying, kind of like what we did, like, it's not for books, QT for this, like,
Right.
I think that's
Okay.
fine. I would leave other names out of it specifically, so like, I wouldn't talk about Bernadine, or if other ones
Or
come up.
anybody.
Yeah, more
for, like their privacy.
Mhm.
Absolutely.
And from a nonprofit side of things, I do know that we scope other organizations to, like, everybody's watching, at least in a nonprofit world, we're all watching everybody else to be like, oh, they fund us, we're similar, so
Yeah.
let's reach out,
Get some of
so,
that.
yeah. So let's just not be helpful on
Right.
that side of things.
Good reminder.
Yeah.
But as far as grants, because most of those are public anyway,
Yeah.
Well, and a lot of them require it in the minutes.
Right. Shared, Curtis, in your report would be public. Like,
Mhm.
these field trips are like, parents know, it's none of this we're worried
Yep.
about.
Yeah, try not to like mention students' names.
Yeah.
Or,
yeah, you didn't this time.
yeah, or, yeah, so, I wouldn't want the public to know.
We need a little like secret codes that,
Yeah.
if it seems like, oh, we're getting
Same,
off
yeah.
script and forgetting,
We really
like that we can do something to just
Name again.
draw our attention.
Yeah. Yeah. Can we do one of those, what's that, those restaurants that have like the red or the blue, like you, if you want them to stop or not, like.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
We need like, we're hungry. like,
We're full.
Yeah, no, that's a good. Good one, Ross. All right, to finance. I'm gonna not bury the lead yet, because I think, my recommendation for tonight, I read through some changes that we, are looking at compared to last month's budget, but I'm actually gonna recommend that we don't amend the budget this month because we're not off by that amount. And there, yeah. So kudos to those of you at the September board meeting. It was a lengthy session, but I am grateful for the work that we did there because even with an updated 45-day count, like again, we're not that far off. So I think kudos to doing the hard work in September because it is honestly to make tonight hopefully a lot easier and shorter. So in looking at the 2025 updated numbers, so shout out to Suzanne who got our 45-day count officially in and done, and we were at 387.44. I don't quite understand how you get 0.44 of a person, but sure. That's where we're at. The way all of the wage payments with like special services and all of that, even with that dip, it only took the state aid classroom number from the September number based on the 5-day count was 4.87. And it took it down to 4.825. So not actually as drastic of a dip as we thought about.
What was the first number?
4.87 to 4.825. We did not an official budget, but I know we added the extra $50,000 in for potential food service. That's still very up in the air, so took that back out just in like playing around with numbers to see not making an official voting recommendation. Took that out to see. There were a couple like Medicaid match reimbursement was at 20,000, but last year we ended the year at 4,600, so like took it down to that. Made a few other adjustments. The saving grace is when Stanton, Curtis, and I were on a conversation with Chance and talking about like upcoming 45-day count and projections and all of this, and he was running state funding, and he was on the district's website, was pulling up, and was like, you have a healthcare reimbursement amount that's like per people that goes towards staff. We're like, again, and he was like, yeah, it's this line right here, which is $83,821. Yeah, that we weren't accounting for, but we get, so that's been the like, oh, now the numbers work.
And that was.
If he could pull one of those out every month.
Yeah.
Wow.
That was $83,821.
And what did you call that?
It's a like healthcare reimbursement.
Yeah, they call it a health insurance subsidy. So we get subsidized for that benefits.
So with all of that, we had also talked about, and not to go into executive session, there's been one more staffing change, like one production position from the September budget. So with that,
In addition to the one that we talked
Yes.
about.
Yep.
Okay.
yeah, one additional one. And then being able to add back in the athletic stipend, that's one of the things that we cut. Being able to add that back in. So with all of the income and we also realized, it's partly why I'm not advocating that we officially change the budget yet. Because when Curtis was running through the staffing schedule, we have more updates now on people who have fully opted. And so LEAD offers a retirement matching program, but some staff members have not opted into that, so we're not matching that. So that would be a reduction. We didn't have time to dig into all of those numbers, so I would recommend in November us kind of taking a look with more formal, but with that expected reduction, adding back in decrease on fundraising based on taking out the food service
Yeah.
income, but then adding in the risk coverage ratio of 1.22.
Okay. Okay.
So it's my recommendation that we continue to do the work to tweet and try to true up the numbers as much as possible, but from a budget perspective, besides being able to add back in ref fees and athletic stipends, that we would just kind of live within the September budget. So that's my recommendation, but I'm open to thoughts, questions. Yeah, when I walked in person, we were meeting at 5, and I was honest, and then we were checking, and I was like, oh, look, that's not that different. Yeah.
I know Jonathan has said this before, but I heard it tonight. One of the boxes he breaks out, he's been breaking out for us, is he says the district wants to see over 50%. They want 55%.
Yep.
On instruction. And I'm like, well,
If we didn't hold on to it, we would.
then all we gonna have is a building. But what hit me was, well, in our discussions about what we're gonna cut, every time we cut a staff person, we're helping that bondholder thing, but we're hurting.
Yeah.
And I don't know what happens if we don't meet that number with the state,
Yeah.
but maybe one year you could get away with it. I don't know.
Yeah, it sounds like we become on some kind of watch list. So they start paying attention to us.
It's just something to keep in mind.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because we're already under 50%.
Yeah.
Without
Yeah.
making drastic
Yeah.
decisions there. So,
And we did talk, I don't know if, in adjusting staffing schedule, one thing that they recommended that we take a look at is making sure the staff positions are coded correctly. Specifically people who might split their responsibilities.
because not all of them are instruction.
Yes, but if somebody, staff member A spends half the time doing administration work and half the time teaching in the classroom,
Yeah.
then making sure that the salary is properly accounted for. So I know that, I mean, staffing is one of our biggest expenses. And so making sure that all of instructional time
Right.
and staff is coded that way.
Yeah.
Because I'm not sure that, I don't know much about this one, but I know in looking through, I'm not sure everybody is coded exactly correctly. But yeah, I agree.
Good.
All metrics to hit. With that, I do think to practice, we should, because I think the board's supposed to review it anyway, to move into executive session past the practice pausing it, and then you can give the official staffing update, Curtis. Oh, yes, I'll move.
It looks like there was a pause button, like you were.
Okay.
Oh, no.
I see.
Yeah, but I don't know if that.
If that actually is. Let's see. And I'm gonna put this back up because there's like, I can stop live streaming from the Zoom in too.
So we're paused up there, but we're.
Live, and then that's Zoom. So I'm trying to get Zoom back up.
I got you. So you think if you were viewing this on YouTube Live, is
It
somebody
would be
checking that?
frozen.
We would be,
I don't know.
I'll go.
Yeah, see if it stopped.
To temporarily halt a meeting as the host or co-host, so I think go to Zoom, click host tools, and choose suspend participant activities.
So, tools?
Host tools.
In the same